Hey guys, Chrono here, and I'm bringing you a deck profile today on Pendulum Magician, and it's budget friendly. And this is geared towards those players that like to play locals, but they know that this is an expensive hobby and they want something that's still effective but cheap. So this is the deck that I've built. I feel it's very competitive. I've tried it at several locals and I've had quite a bit of success with it. So let's get right into it. So the first card that we have here, Abyss Actor Curtain Razor. If you don't know how this card works, once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can special summon this from your Pendulum Zone. So you put it in your Pendulum Zone, you pop it, and then it special summons to the field as a monster. Really good card. Okay. One Time Gazer Magician, one Stargazer Magician, and the reason you need one of each of these is for actually two other cards that I'm sure you guys know. Okay, so which would be Chronograph Sorcerer. You're going to need 3 copies of that. And the reason you want this card, it's very similar to Curtain Call, but what it does is you put it in place in your Pendulum Zone, you pop it, and then you can special summon Time Gazer to your actual Pendulum Zone or to the field. And he's real key for one of the key combos that you're going to do. So with Chronograph Sorcerer, you also need 3 Astrograph Sorcerer. This card's really good. It also has a similar effect to Chronograph Sorcerer, but its actual monster effect is absolutely ridiculous at times. The way this card works, if a card you control is destroyed by a battle or a card effect, special summon this card from your hand, then choose one monster in the graveyard, extra deck, or that is banished and was destroyed this turn. Add one monster with the same name from your deck to your hand. So it's a really, really good card. It's actually one of the most expensive cards in the deck for the actual monster ability, not the pendulum ability. Okay, let's go ahead and get now into 2 of the other cards. This is a pendulum first turn kill deck, so these are necessary. They help you get the actual fusion card that you need. And yes, I only run 1 Gate 0 and 1 Infinity. Again, budget friendly. Then you got your main staples. So 3 Black Fang Magician. And if you don't know what that does when it leaves the field, if it's destroyed by a battle or card effect, it actually gets you a special summon from your grave. That's a Dark Spellcaster. 3 Purple Poison. This card is just so good. What it actually does, a monster effect target, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, target 1 card on the field and destroy it. It's a really good insurance card. And then of course, one of the main heroes of the deck, 3 Harmonizing Magicians. Card's so good. Excellent scale. When you pendulum summon it, you get to special summon from your deck 1 other Dark Spellcaster monster that's level 4 or lower. And it's just really, really good because it's a synchro monster, and you can run a bunch of synchros in the deck. Now, this is the part that makes this the budget-friendly deck. 3 Dragon Pulse Magician. Now, you might be wondering why. Well, it's really expensive right now to get Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. That card is just really, really expensive. So what I run instead in the extra deck is Mrs. Radiant. Now here's why. Notice 2 Earth monsters. And if you take a look here at Dragon Pulse, you can see that he is Earth and he's considered a normal monster. So he goes perfectly within the engine and you can consistently make him. And here's why. I also run 3 Rescue Rabbits. Now, if you don't know what this card does, it's really good. When you normal summon it, you can banish it and special summon 2 level 4 or lower monsters with the same name from your deck, but they're destroyed on the end phase. And so what I do is I special summon 2 actual Dragon Pulse Magicians. Then I link into Miss Radiant. And then Miss Radiant hits the field. Notice then that I have 2 zones that can then be used. That is one of the best ways I've found to play a budget-friendly Pendulum deck, and it works consistently. And then the last card that I run, 3 Darkworm. This card's so good. When it's normal or special summoned, you get to add Supreme King Gate Infinity or Supreme K card Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. So it's extremely good. I run 3. I'm shocked some people only run 2. Okay, so that's the monsters. Now for the spells. 1 Dragon Shrine. This card sends a monster or a dragon to the grave. You want to send Darkworm because he can special summon himself from there. Then I run 2 Pendulum Calls. Card's really good. You discard 1 card. You get to add 2 Pendulum monsters to your hand. Just they have to have different names. 3 Duelist Alliance. And the reason I run 3, it gets me the Pendulum Call. You just have to have a card in your scale, a Pendulum monster. And then for the instant kill, 3 Instant Fusion. So good. That combo is just ridiculous. And then also, like I said, this is a budget-friendly deck. 2 Heavy Storm. Now, I really like this card. This card is ridiculously underutilized. It's target up to 2 spell or traps on the field, destroy them, but you can't conduct your battle phase. I never, almost ever, use this on my actual turn, so it's an extremely cheap Twin Twister without the cost. Okay, so let's get to the extra deck now. As you can see, Miss Radiant, huge for this deck. Okay. 1 Decode Talker. Very easy to use as well. When you're going for the first turn kill, Zephyr Metaltron, and notice the amount of zones it frees up for you. And then 2 Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom. This is critical for the first turn kill. Then of course you need the other card for that, which is right here. Okay, not sure exactly how to say this card's name, but Intimate Nightingale. She's really good. She's the how you get the first turn kill. And then we've got 1 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, 1 Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, Supreme King Dark Rebellion, 1 Supreme King Clear Wing Dragon. This card is extremely over or underrated. PSY-Framelord Zeta. Now, here's what makes this card so good. Once per turn, during either player's turn, so it's a quick effect, target 1 special summon monster from your opponent's that controls it's in face-up attack. Banish both that card and this card from the field, returned by your next standby. Why is this card so good? Well, let's say your opponent is going for the first turn kill themselves. You have this on the field for protection. As soon as they bring out that Link monster, you activate the effect. You banish their Link monster and this card, and they're stuck at least 1 turn without it. So it's a really, really good card. Okay, next one. 1 Time Star Magician. Gets you harmonizing real well. 1 Castell to get rid of troublesome cards on the field. Really good underrated card. Starlight, Red Dragon Archfiend. If you don't know how this card works, what it does, once per turn, destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible. and you give your opponent 500 damage for each one. I've actually won several games from the effect damage if I didn't get the first turn kill. And then if you want, it's not critical, but one PSY-Framelord Omega. I really don't even make this card. I pulled it. It's $10. I threw it in. You honestly don't need it. Okay, so that's the deck. And that's actually less if you don't have Omega in there. It's actually less than 50 bucks, which is just awesome. So let me show you some plays now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my 5 cards. And let's see what we get turn 1. Okay, so not too bad, as you can see here. Not a bad hand at all. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to normal summon Rescue Rabbit. Now, Rescue Rabbit's effect, I banish it, and then I get to special summon 2 level 4 normal monsters. Remember, Dragon Pulse counts as that. Okay, and then I go ahead and I shuffle my deck. So shuffling the deck real quick here. Now, after that, I go ahead and I'm going to link right away. And the card that I'm going to link for is Miss Radiant. Because remember, it only takes 2 Earth monsters to make Mrs. Radiant, which is nice. And then those are on top of the extra deck. Okay, that is my normal summon for the turn, though. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and activate Chronograph Sorcerer's effect. So that pops him. And then I get to special summon from the deck. Hang on. Time Gazer Magician. Now, you want to make sure that you put him underneath where there's no zones pointing to. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not going to get the first turn kill, but I'm going to have a really good field. So, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to play Astrograph. Now, I'm actually going to activate his effect, but I'm going to place him in the Pendulum Zone to get Time Gazer Magician. Now, the reason I want Time Gazer there is because that is all I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to have to Pendulum Summon here, and I want to make sure that I have enough room. So then I place my other scale, okay? So I put him in the Pendulum Zone there. It's my scale 8. And then I'm going to go ahead and Pendulum Summon now. So 1, 2. All right, now I go ahead and I tribute 2. And that's going to get me the first card, which is Starving Venom. Again, this is the best card in the deck, or in the extra deck, I should say, for this combo. And then I play my Instant Fusion. Now with Instant Fusion, it gets Nightingale out, and notice that points to the other zone. Now, if you don't know how Nightingale works, but I'm assuming most of you do, once per turn, you can actually burn your opponent 500 times the level of the monster. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and this card's great because it's unaffected by other card effects. So I activate the effect, I burn my opponent for 500, then I go ahead and I activate the effect of Starving Venom. Now, if you don't know what this card does, again, it copies any card's effect on the field. So I'm going to copy Nightingale's effect. I use it now, and I burn my opponent for 8 stars times 500, which is 4,000 damage. So right away, turn 1, they're down to 3,500, and I'm down to 7 because I've used the Instant Fusion. But here's also the awesome effect. The other effect is I gain the 4,000, and it goes to my attack. So I now have a 6,800 beat stick on the field that is unaffected by card effects. So that's one turn there that you might have. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another effect that might happen here. All right, so here we go. I'm going to draw my 5. Oh, okay, again, I'm not going to get the first turn kill, but you'll notice that this is going to be consistent enough to make it work. Now, one of the things about this card, the Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser card, I did not mention, you can only do this once per duel. So I put it in the Pendulum Zone. I don't control any monsters, so I can special summon it. So I do that. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and normal Dark Worm. Dark Worm's effect kicks off. And then that allows me to grab Infinity, or no, I'm sorry, Supreme King Gate 0. It allows me to grab that and add it to the hand. Okay, deck's shuffled. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and use this effect. I go ahead and pop him. He goes to the extra deck, and then that's going to get me a special summon out, which is Time Gazer Magician. Okay. Now notice I have 3 monsters on the field. So this is going to allow me to make Decode Talker. Okay. So I go ahead and I get rid of all 3. And then that's going to go ahead and give me Decode Talker. Okay, so Decode Talker goes there. All right, and then I set my scales. So Supreme King Gate 0, Black Fang. And now I go ahead and Pendulum Summon. And so I'll Pendulum Summon 1 and 2. Okay, so again, here's the combo. I go ahead and I get rid of 2. That's then going to make Starving Venom. Okay, so he hits the field. All right, and then here it is. Instant Fusion, pay 1,000. And Nightingale hits the field. Use the effect to burn my opponent for 500. Use Starving Venom's effect to copy Nightingale's effect. Now I utilize the effect, and I actually have burned him or my opponent for another 4,000. This now becomes 6,800, and it's unaffected by card effects. So is this card. Both cards are unaffected by card effects, and what's also nice, I can actually go ahead, if I were to attack, like if it was turn 2, it does piercing damage. This is a really safe card too, because if this card gets targeted, I can tribute a monster to negate that effect, and then destroy the monster that did it. So again, notice in one turn what I'm able to do. Now it's not one actual first turn kill, but it's pretty close. I mean, you've got your opponent down to 3,500 life points with a 6,800 beat stick on the field, unaffected by card effects. That's going to be really tough to get past. Let's see what we get if we go second. Okay, so let's see what happens when I go second. That's usually where I have the most success making the first turn kill. But as you could see, going first is not too shabby as well. Okay, so, okay, there's my first 5. Already not a way to make it, and no, I'm not going to make it. But that's okay, I can still show you some options that you can make if you get a hand like this. So it's not too shabby. So let's go ahead and start with what you can do here. So the first thing that I would do is I would go ahead and utilize this effect. I'm going to go ahead and pop him. And that's going to give me a special summon, which is going to be Time Gazer again. I know. We see him a lot, but he's actually turned out to be a much better card than I think most people would have thought at this point. So I go ahead and make him real quick, or get him out on the field. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to place my pendulum scales, and then I'm going to go ahead and pendulum summon. Now, I'm actually, yeah, you might be wondering why both. So I'm going to go ahead and utilize the effect on the second one, and then that gets me a card out from my deck, and I go ahead and I just bring out Purple Poison. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and synchro summon. So first I'm going to synchro Purple Poison. Now it's banished. That's part of this card's effect. This goes to the extra deck. And then what I'm going to go ahead and make, even though I don't normally make it, I'm going to go ahead and make Omega. So what's great about Omega, I can go ahead and banish him during the main phase, and it banishes one card randomly from my opponent's hand. So they're down to 5 cards, or if they have a card in the hand, or if they have one in the hand, they're down whatever they have left. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go for this one. I'm going to synchro again. And when I synchro, I'm going to go ahead and get out Framelord. Now, if you remember, this card's really good because it can banish a card on the field. So, assuming I can target my opponent's cards, I will go ahead and banish that card. And remember, I have not normaled yet. So now I'm going to normal summon Rescue Rabbit, banish him. I know, so much banishing. And then that's going to allow me to special summon 2 Dragon Pulse to the field. Okay. And then I can also go ahead and then overlay. So I'm going to overlay both. And the card that I'm going to overlay for is Time Magician, or Time Star Magician. You just need 2 Magician Pendulum cards to make this. I detach a material, and then that's going to give me, from my deck, my last Harmonizing Magician to the hand. So next turn I'll have a play that I can do, and then assuming I can get over my opponent's monster, go ahead and attack, and then, you know, it's their next turn. Now, on the next turn, though, when my cards come back, I can actually have them go to different zones on the actual field, which is just awesome, and that's during the standby phase. Oh, and look, so on my draw, I got instant fusion, right? Okay, so what I could go ahead and do in this situation is, because I control 2 of these, I can go ahead and get rid of both. Okay, or actually all 3. Okay, so I get rid of all 3 cards. Okay, they go to the grave. And then, and then for my extra deck, that gets out this card here. This is a really good card. It's Zephyra. Now, notice what's great about Zephyra. 3 zones he's pointing to here. So and the way you have to summon him, you have to have it be cards from the extra deck that they were summoned. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pendulum summon. So I'm going to pendulum summon 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate Harmonizing Magician's effect. And then I'm going to go ahead and break out another one. Okay, so now notice I've got 4 dark monsters on the field. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and... oh, wait. No, I want this over here. When you pendulum summon, make sure it's over there. You need to leave a zone open. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 2. That's going to make Starving Venom for me. so he hits the field. Now I do my instant fusion, and then that's going to bring out Nightingale. And then I make my last Starving Venom. So I get rid of those, and then I've got it on the field. And then go ahead and burn them for 5, utilizing her effect. Starving Venom's effect, copy this one, now use it, burn for 4, then use this effect to copy either this or this, and then activate again and burn for 4 more. That's game. So notice right away you have taken out your opponent in 1 turn with just burn damage. It's a pretty amazing deck. I really like it, and with it being top $60 without Omega 50, this is definitely a good choice for those of you who are trying to play something that is budget friendly. So I hope you enjoyed the profile. Guys, please let me know what you think down in the comments, ways that I can improve the deck, something I could do differently but yet still be budget friendly for those who are watching. And I'll see you guys next time.